equations and inequalities. Here we're going to evaluate expressions and functions. What's happening here is finding the answer by putting in all the numbers and resolving it down to an answer. So here we've got an expression. It says evaluate the expression p squared plus 4q over 2 into q plus 1, something quite lengthy like that with a lot of terms. But it says where p is 1 and q is 2. So all we're doing now is we're just inserting values into this expression. So it's quite, methodical really. You say p is 1, q is 2. Almost you have your table there. And you now reread it and you say p squared, well that would be 1 squared, plus 4 times q, that would be 2, 4 times 2, over 2 into q, that would be a 2, and that would be a 1. So it's just that taking time out to do that precisely. If you do make a mistake, there will be marks. There are marks for attempts and slips and all that. But there's no reason to rush a thing like that. It's just step by step and you plug it in. Then you calculate 1 squared is 1. 4 times 2, 8. You do something within the brackets first. 2 plus 1 is 3. So it's 3 times 2. Then you keep going and you say on the top 1 plus 8 is 9. 2 times 3 on the bottom, 6. And then with your calculator, 9 over 6 is 1.5. Is that all right? Now, in a different section, you look at BIMDAS or BOMDAS and all the various things. We're not doing that here. We're assuming that that's covered elsewhere. But there is a sequence that we do things in. Next expression is this. Evaluate the expression a squared plus b plus c over 2 into b minus c, where a is 1, b is 3, and c is 5. And again, it's just create this table for yourself. A is 1, B is 3, and C is 5. And then go into what I call lockdown mode, really. Just, I need to concentrate. A squared, that's 1 squared. The B, that's a 3. The C, that's a 5. On the bottom 2, that's B, that's a 3. Minus, 3, that's bracket minus the 5. So better do that right. And then I just calculate that out. Now, you have to be careful too. There may be sometimes a negative sign here, and you've got to be careful with that and how you treat that so you don't make slips. But 1 squared is 1 plus 3 plus 5 over 2 into 3 minus 5, 3 right there. 3 minus 5 should be done first because it's brackets. So that would be 1 plus 3 plus 5 is 1 plus, there's nothing else higher than addition, so I can just, 1 plus 3 is 4, isn't it? Plus 5 is 9. On the bottom, 2 into minus 2. 2 times minus 2 is minus 4, isn't it? And then with a calculator, that should give us 2.25 or something like that with the minus, or whatever that answer is. Is that okay? But again, it's quite methodical. Here's another classic example of where the application of this comes up in your question. Find the value of a function for given values of the variables. For the function f of x is equal to x squared minus 2x minus 8, find the values when x is equal to minus 5 to 5. You would have drawn many graphs like this to draw a function of any way. Like, for example, if we have a function like this, for every single x value, there will be a y value. So when x is 0, the value is here. When x is 1. So how do we get those? We get those by plugging values for x into the function itself. So x squared minus 2x minus 8, what happens when f is 0? And when f is 1? And when f is 2? So we'll take f of 0 first. We'll say x squared minus 2x minus 8, and we go into lockdown mode. 0 squared minus 2 times 0 minus 8 is 1 squared minus 2 times 1 minus 8 is 2 squared minus 2 times 2 minus 8 is. So 0 squared is 0. Minus 2 times 0 is 0. And minus 8 is minus 8. 1 squared is 1. Minus 2 minus 8 is 1 minus 2 is minus 1. Minus 8 brings it to minus 9. And then we have 2 squared is 4. Minus 2 minus 2 is minus 4, minus 8. The 4's cancel. We're left with 0 minus 8, which is minus 8. So if you want to try just f3 then, we just do that one. X squared minus 2x minus 8. 3 squared minus 2 times 3 minus 8. 3 squared is, 3 by 3 is 9. 2 times 3, 6, minus 8. So 9 steps east, minus 6 west, minus 8 west. 9 minus 3 is, 9 minus 6 is 3, minus 8 is minus 5. Okay? And we do that, and that happens to be the graph of x squared minus 2x minus 8. And we can see that when x is 0, 0, minus 8, the value is y is minus 8. And when x is 4, for example, it looks like it's 0. So let's see how it does at 4. F of 4 is 4 squared minus 2 times 4 minus 8 is 16 minus 8 minus 8. And 16 minus 8 minus 8, 0. And that's the point 4 0. And we can get all of those points like that and add them up and join them or whatever. So that's another aspect that's on your program. And another way they might phrase it, another way is to say, given values of a variable, verify that a point satisfies a function. On a graph, they might say, is the point 4 0 on the graph? Or is the point 5 0 on the graph? Or is the point 6 minus 8 on the graph? And you might have to see if that's true or not. So how would you do that? Well, you'd say the graph is x squared minus 2x minus 8, and you're asking me, is 6 16 on it? Well, how would we do that? Well, isn't it always the x is the first number, and y is the second number? So working to that basis, we're asked, is 6 16 on this graph? And let's see if it is. I don't know if it is. 6 16, I would guess not. But we'll just see if it is. I'd say it's faster than that. I'd say it's going a bit faster than that. But maybe it is. We'll see. The graph is f of x. You won't always have the graph to compare it. Minus 2x minus 8. And it says, is 6 16 there? The x value is 6. So let's try f of 6. 6 squared minus 2 times 6 minus 8. What's 6 squared? 36. Minus 2 times 6? 12. Minus 8? It looks like it's 36 minus 20 is 16. It looks like 6 16 is on the graph, doesn't it? So actually, it does satisfy it. But let's see whether the point 2 4 satisfies the graph. 2 4. 2 4 is there. Does 2 4 satisfy the graph? No. So let's see what happens. Let's try f of 2. 2 squared minus 2 times 2 minus 8. 2 squared, 4. Minus 4 minus 8. These cancel. 2 is minus 8. So it's telling me that the point xy is 2 for x and minus 8 for y. It's 2 minus 8. It's not 2 4. So if I look at it, it is 2 minus 8 and not 2 4. So this one is a no, and that's a yes. And that's where you use this. So there's just one. Just leave that to you. Check whether or not the point xy 2, 4 satisfy that function there. We'll break exactly at 1, so. Okay, returning to this question. Check whether the point xy 2, 4 satisfies the function. You may not have time, or it may not be given, as a requirement to draw the graph. So you'll have to say, just work on the algebra of it. And it says xy is 2, 4. So really what they're saying is g of x, in this case, is equal to minus x minus 8. But it's still always going to be xy. We always have the two dimensions where this is x and this is y, the horizontal and the vertical, the east-west with the north-south. So g of x here means the xy, that is the g of 2, because the 2 is the x. And it's saying, is that equal to 4? Is minus x minus 8 equal to 4 when x is 2? G of 2, where x is 2, you say, well, put in the minus 2, minus 8. Minus 2 minus 8, what's that answer? Minus 10, isn't it? So is minus 10 equal to 4? No. So that question mark that we had, is it? I think we're getting that minus 10 is not the function then. Is that okay? So that's where that graph is at. Last example, I think, of this topic where they use the calculations on your course and they ask you to put things in. Let f of x be this equation here, where a, t are elements of R. R is the real number system. So we're talking about all the numbers like 1.3 and all the irrational numbers, but not the complex numbers, okay? And it's saying, there's your fx. Fx is another word for y, remember. We only have two axes. So in this case, we have an x, all right. And we have f of x. We don't have y, but we still have two dimensions. Sometimes it's called gx, sometimes it's called y. So f of x is this thing here, x squared plus ax plus t. Find the value of a given that f of minus 5 is f of minus 1. Okay, so it's a sort of a clue, and they're saying x squared plus ax plus t is your basic function. And the clue that they're giving you is that f of 1 is equal to f of 5. Solve it. Okay. Well, we know how to work f of 1, I think, because if f of x is this, how do you get f of 1? You go to whatever the equation is, and you look for point 1, and you say, what's the value at point 1, isn't it? So let's put in 1. 1 would be, oh, sorry, I think was it minus 1 it said? It says f of minus 5 and f of minus 1. Okay? So we have to find out what the value was further back. We have to look at this particular function and see what its value was at minus 1 rather than a plus. Okay? Okay, how do we do that? Well, we're going to put in not f of 1 and f of 5, but f of minus 1 and f of minus 5. F of x is x squared plus ax plus t. We don't know a, we don't know t, but we know x. And we're told that f of minus 1 is f of minus 5. So f of minus 1 would be, again, from the box, we say every time I see an x, I'm going to put in a minus 1. So the x squared would be minus 1 squared plus a times x, that's a minus 1, plus t. And f of minus 5 would be, now x is minus 5, minus 5 squared plus a times minus 5 plus t. If I calculate all of that out, I find that f of minus 1 is that. The 1 minus 1 squared becomes 1. The a times minus 1 becomes minus a, and the t becomes t. So I find that this equation is 1 minus a plus t. Looking at this one, what's minus 5 by minus 5? 5 by 5? 25. Minus by minus? Plus. So I get 25 minus 5a plus t. And I am told that these are the same. And if they're the same, f of minus 1 equals f of minus 5, then 1 minus a plus t must equal 25 minus 5a plus t. Is that okay? So now I'm into a different part, probably of the program, in algebra, and I've got to solve those. Okay? So I'm told that that's my f of 5, and how do I solve that? Well, I'll proceed by saying if they're equal, I just do algebra. The f of 1 is f of minus 1 is f of minus 5. I have an a on this side. Do I like the minus a on that side? Not great, but I'm going to bring the a's over. That's a minus 5a. When I bring it over, it's going to become plus 5a, isn't it? Because plus 5a would get rid of it on this side. So that's why you change the sign. The t is fine, but that t, if I bring that over, how would I get rid of that t? Minus t, and that's what I do there. So in the end, I end up with 4a is 24, and a is 6. Okay? Therefore, the function is given by this now. It used to be x squared plus ax plus t, but I found that a is now 6. So I'm up a step. Okay? But then it gives me another hint. And it says f of 1 is 8. In addition to f of minus 1 and f of minus 5 being the same, f of 1 is 8. So now you're told this thing, which x squared plus 6x plus t is 8, when x is 1. How do you solve that? Head down. Step by step. Everywhere you see an x, you make it a 1. So 1 squared plus 6 times 1 plus t is 8. 1 squared, 1. 6 times 1, 6. Plus t is 8. 1 plus 6, 7 plus t is 8. What's the answer? T is 1. How do you do that? You get rid of the minus 7. Minus 7. T is 8 minus 7, which is 1. And that's the end of all of those sort of questions that you get. You're plugging in numbers, you're manipulating them around, and every single part of your equations can all be solved like that. Is that okay? It's 1.